We got to talk about the Detroit Pistons. Right now, the Pistons, at the time when I wrote the note, they were just a game above 500. Nay, nay. They are now more than a game above 500. They are now 2 games above 500, which again might sound like it's not that major, but look, in the Eastern Conference, if the season ended today, the Pistons would be the number 8 seed and they'd be in the play-in. Right now, they're tied with the Miami Heat, 13 games back out of first, just half a game behind the Milwaukee Bucks. And my question is this: is this team not only capable of making the play-in, but are they capable of making the playoff? And I wholeheartedly, and this is no smarm, this is no sarcasm, this is no me just being a homer. I truly believe they can do it. However, if they're going to do it, it will come at a bit of a cost. If they do it, it will be because they bought at the trade deadline. Now, the Pistons have one of the best cap situations in the league. I want to say they have like the most cap space in general. So they have ability to take on some higher paying contracts, right? Like now, obviously the highest paying contracts, those guys are just not going to be available. But there are going to be guys available. I think of, and this is one I'm surprised really hasn't gotten mentioned a whole lot more. It's been mentioned in some circles, and I'm not an NBA talking head. I don't know the rumors. I don't know the details. All right, but Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns. Now, the Phoenix Suns, for what it's worth, they are currently in the play-in. Right now they're the 10th seed, so they're playing for a postseason spot. However, they are ridiculously playing below their standard, right? They are not where they want to be. Kevin Durant is naturally leading another team into complete dysfunction. After he led the Brooklyn Nets into dysfunction, he is now leading the Phoenix Suns into dysfunction, as apparently is tradition for Kevin Durant. And Bradley Beal, I don't know what his future is because, again, this guy is another one of just a born loser kind of guy, like a guy who can put up some good stats for bad teams, but as soon as the bright lights shine upon him, he does not show up. And then there's Devin Booker. Devin Booker, who is from Grand Rapids, I want to say. Devin Booker, who, for those of you who care about things like statistics, is still one of the better players in the league. 24 points a game, 3 boards a game, 6 assists a game, shoots 43% from the field goal. So he is still a star to superstar in the league. And the other thing about him, he's not particularly old. He is, let's see, I want to say he's just, let me see if I can find his age. Does it not show me his age? Bio? He's from Grand Rapids. He's 28 years old. So he's just about entering his prime. So he would be something of a veteran presence, right? Obviously, he's already made the NBA Finals. He didn't win, but he made the Finals. And it just seems like at every point when he's off or what, like he just seems like he's always around Detroit. I mean, we had an opportunity to draft him at the time, but for whatever reason, we didn't want the hometown player. I guess it's from Grand Rapids, so it's the other side of the state. But still, like we didn't want it, and I don't know what it's going to take to get him. But again, we have the space, we have the capability to bring him on. Now, on the other end, there are other guys like Cam Johnson, guys like Lauri Markkanen. Some of the not as big superstar names, but still guys that are good players, guys that'll make your team better. Now, as far as what you would have to bundle up to get those players, I'm not in the business of telling you what that looks like. I am in the business of telling you what this team looks like. Now, I did hear today, and I was a little shocked. I heard some people just saying, this team is actually not that good. They're taking advantage of a bad Eastern Conference. No. Okay, this is not just going up and down the schedule here as of late for the Pistons. They're not just beating bad teams, okay? They're beating teams that are pretty decently ahead of them in the standings. Teams like the Orlando Magic. Teams like the New York Knicks, which they just did. Teams even like the Los Angeles Lakers on the road. They beat the Miami Heat in overtime back in December 16th. If you go back to December the 16th, the Pistons have lost just 3 total games. Since December the 16th, the Detroit Pistons have lost 3 games. On top of the fact that Cade Cunningham is far and away a superstar in this league. And I have been as harsh as I have on Cade Cunningham because, there was a lot of, the turnovers, and he still has a bit of a turnover problem. You had he just wasn't developing a shot and all that. This year, 24.5 points a game, 6 boards a game, 9 assists a game. He's almost averaging a double-double, and he very well could be, all while shooting 46% from the field goal. Like, he is not only having an all-star year, he is having an all-NBA year. It is just night and day the kind of player he has become for the Pistons. He is living up to that number 1 overall pick standard. He is living up to that, elite prospect that he was standard. And he has become a leader on this team in both offensive efficiency, but in just, he can get the ball to the right guy. He's an assist guy. Like, it's not, Anthony Edwards driving to the basket and slamming over guys. It's not John Morant flying 6 feet in the air and dropping a ball, out of a UFO. But it's consistent. It's competent. It's smart. It's just good basketball. Like, and the fact that I could say that about a Pistons team that last year won 14 games. We have won 7 more games, and we're not even into February. We're not even halfway through January, and we've won 7 more games than the Pistons did all of last year. And you know what's even funnier? I said going into this after this offseason, when the Pistons went out, they got Tobias Harris, they got Malik Beasley, they got Tim Hardaway Jr. And I thought, when you really think about it, this was actually kind of a good offseason. Like, Malik Beasley is a solid player, and he turned into an absolute dog. He leads not just the team, he leads the league in 3 points made right now. He's just like the guy's just a killer. He's like Big Shot Bob out there. Like, I remember saying, this actually, I truly believe this was the year that the Pistons could go out there and win 30 games. And, saying that sounds like, oh my gosh, what terrible standards. 30 games was a big deal for the Pistons because they hadn't done it in a while. Not only do I believe they're going to win 30 games, I think they could certainly win 40. They could even win more than 40. They could win 45 games. I mean, even just looking ahead at the schedule here, it's not like it gets easy, but there are games where you're like, okay, this actually is going to be must watch because of just the way they've been playing. You got Indiana at home on Thursday. You got Phoenix at home on Saturday. You got at the Rockets on Monday. That's a 2:00 game. I don't know why. Oh, because of Martin Luther King Day. That's right. You have a lot of games coming up here where you're like, okay, they're gonna have a long road trip after those 2 home games, but hey, on Monday the 27th of January, they're gonna be on NBA TV, and then in early February, they're gonna be on ESPN. If the Pistons can get themselves to a point where they are like either in the playoff or high in the play-in by the time that ESPN game comes around, I think the nation is going to get a real good view of Cade Cunningham because that's going to be, early February. People are probably going to start tuning into the NBA as the NFL and college football will definitely be over by that point. Cade Cunningham has a chance to put on a show, and it's funny because that is going to be the only non-NBA TV national broadcast that the Pistons get all year. So if the Pistons can continue what they're doing, and you're going to get closer and closer to the deadline, you can go out and make a move, bring in a name, bring in a Markkanen, bring in a Cam Johnson, heck, bring in a Devin Booker if you're feeling spicy. Maybe not all 3 of those guys. I don't know how you'll be able to do that, but bring in a name, bring in a big name to make this team better to where, okay, we could actually see the Pistons getting into the 6th seed, maybe the 5 seed if they're feeling extra spicy. I mean, like, if you look at the teams ahead of them, the Pacers and the Bucks in the 5 and 6 seed, neither of those teams are, playing elite basketball. The Pistons have a winning record on the road. Neither of those teams do. And the Pistons are also playing, a lot better in their last 10 compared to those two teams. Maybe not a lot better, but better. The Pacers have won 6 straight, and they've won 7 out of their last 10. The Pistons won 8. So, look, it is this Pistons team is not just fluky and not just like kind of fun. This is a genuinely good basketball team. This is a basketball team worth watching. Okay? And if you've been a Pistons fan for any amount of time recently, it's been hard to say that about the Pistons. This is a genuinely fun Pistons team. It's young, it's gritty, it's tough. They'll play, late games, they'll play comeback games, they'll play you on the road, they'll play you well at home. Cade Cunningham will always put on a show. Like, it's just good basketball. And my gosh, it feels so good to be able to say that about the Pistons. And you know what else? You know who I haven't had to hear from? Tom Gores. Tom Gores hadn't said nothing. Tom Gores has been media silent, and that is A-okay with me. Tom Gores, you can stay in Beverly Hills or Los Angeles. Actually, maybe don't stay in Los Angeles right now. I don't know if you're aware of what's going on, but probably don't. But you can stay wherever it is and stay media silent. That's fine. That's fine. As long as you are allowing Trajan Langdon and you are allowing JB Bickerstaff to just do whatever it is they do. Don't pressure them. If Trajan Langdon says, you know what, I don't really want to buy, I think I'm good with just sort of rolling it out and see what happens. Okay, that's fine. Like, if he says, you know what, I think I want to do a little bit of selling. I'm not going to fire sale because the team is good enough to make the playoff, but maybe just a pinch of selling. Don't just let them. Don't do the Blake Griffin trade. All right, don't do the Derrick Rose signing. Don't do that. Don't do any of that. Let them cook. Trajan Langdon in just 1 year has proven to me that he is a pretty smart basketball mind, and JB Bickerstaff has proven to be one of the better coaches in this league because he has proven with the development of guys like Cade, fortunately Ivy getting hurt, but when he was playing at a very high level, even Jalen Duren in the last few games has really started to turn it on. So a lot of good things can be said about the Pistons. They are a genuinely good, basketball team. And I do think that they could make the playoff. I really do. They're going to have to make some moves, I think. I think they would have to do at least a little bit of buying. But I do think, for sure, this Pistons team is, certainly I think they're capable of making the play-in. If they can I think they could just make the playoff straight up. Just the way they're playing and the look ahead of their schedule, at least in the next few days, the next coming weeks here, they got a chance to really get ahead here. Will they do it? Only time is going to tell. But at the very least, it's fun to watch.
Hi, it's me again. If you enjoyed what you just saw, hit the like and subscribe button. We do live shows every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there.